Hey, welcome back, Stone State Studios. I'm Chad Evans, again with M&M Carpet One Floor and Home out of Bloomsburg. Gentlemen, hello.
Good morning.
Both Mikes joining us again here today. And we also have Dena here as well. Good to see you. We talked previously on the last podcast about your role in installing kitchens and baths. And maybe that's something that people don't think. Maybe they think that M&M Carpet One is just like, well, I just need to go and get some turf for my golf simulator, right?
Yeah. Right.
I think maybe a lot of people think about. Maybe that's what I think about when the time comes. But that's not the case. You do a lot more than just carpet, hardwoods.
Well, that's correct. So, like Mike was saying in the beginning, how they just were known as a carpeting store. And how it's grown from 1988, 87, 88 to going from Floor Town to Carpet One. And there's all sorts of natural progressions, just like the progressions between the two of them. Don't you believe that, Mike?
I totally agree. You know, time changes everything, and the changes are definitely heading in the right direction.
We love change.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, nothing wrong with that. But so with the kitchen remodels, bathroom remodels, what goes with that? But cabinets,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
So now, how's that work? So now we have cabinets in there? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we do. We do have cabinets, and
Well, it's just like pushing someone along to keep improving. And what's the movie that you like so much, Mike?
Oh, Lion King. Yeah.
What's that about?
So some days I feel like Simba trying to take over Pride Rock here, and I feel like Dena's helping me, helping to mold me into being the perfect business owner.
Look at that.
And he's doing a great job. And just like a family-owned business, there's always room for more family at the table. You know, growing up at the farm, everybody would come in, an extra person would come in, my grandmother would set another plate, just like we did with adding the cabinetry in the kitchens in. And speaking of kitchens, look who just got here.
Look at
Good
that.
morning,
New
Jake.
member.
We're going to get rid of one and replace it with another. Good to see you.
Thanks, buddy.
Jake Kelchner, have a seat, my friend.
Hello,
Get that
everybody.
microphone right there in front of you, pal. He's on his 8th or 9th coffee so far.
Yep.
And we appreciate you being here, Jake. We're going to have you move
no
right
problem.
a little closer to that microphone there. Get all comfy and cozy.
Sure.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. Talk a little about Aero, the company. Why custom cabinetry? Just introduce yourself for everybody to know all about you.
Well, I grew up in Nescapec, and then halfway through my childhood moved to Berwick, so I'm from the area. And long story short, to go quickly through this, we started a company, a wood products company in 2008.
Okay.
You know, the market crashed. I was working for a hardwood plywood company, and there was no jobs. So you basically had to figure it out on your own. So I did. So it slowly grew from a wood products company to a cabinet company, which we started in 2012. Then that just took off and it grew. And Aero just kept growing and growing. And then finally we purchased a manufacturing facility out in Cherry Tree, Pennsylvania. And that's about 18 miles south of Punxsutawney. So over the years, we've really grown in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 90% of our business, but we've never ventured east, and I've always wanted to. And so we pushed to Harrisburg, and we got an opportunity with M&M Flooring. So we're now over here in the Berwick, Bloomsburg area.
That's great.
So,
How did that opportunity come about to work with
well, we have a sales rep over here, Janet,
Okay.
and she got with Dena, and those two worked out. Like Dena was trying to evolve M&M, and Mike were open to, hey, all this kind of ties together. And a lot of customers like to go in and have everything. If they're going to redo their kitchen or their bathroom, they can do everything right there. And the other thing that, in my experience, that Dena offers, which is really important in that store, it's you got to have somebody that really understands what's going on. If you go to Lowe's, you could get a 20-year-old kid that just is there to get a check, and there's no depth, there's no real, hey, does she really understand what I'm trying to do? And with that, there's a whole different game with her and what these guys are doing there with her experience. So,
what's it like so far bringing Jake on board here?
Oh, it's been good. I love the cabinets that he manufactures.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful and definitely nice quality.
Yeah. Dena with interior design and the whole, laying out of these bathrooms and kitchens and more. What's it like working with Jake?
It's great working with Jake. Jake does the delivery, which is wonderful.
Oh.
I don't know how long Jake's going to be able to keep that up, but it's wonderful to see that he comes and does brings that personal touch back in. And I also feel, as far as educating the general public, with Mike here, it's showing him also that, again, longevity of things, doing good quality things at the beginning, and with, always keep that good piece in your home. Wood is important, the layout's important, getting what you want. Years down the road when you think about it, what you spend on your kitchen, if you divide that out, it's a much better value than buying a car. And you might as well get it right at the first time instead of cutting corners, because once you cut corners in a kitchen and if the measurements aren't right, if the product doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and that's where I come in and ask lots of questions. I always tell everyone, don't pay attention to necessarily what, and I'm not knocking the contractors, but what the contractor wants in it. What do you cook in your kitchen? How do you want to cook things? What do you need access to? It's not just cookie cutter. Like if you do certain things and you need a certain product next to you or a piece of equipment, it's important. Like I don't bake. I don't own a KitchenAid mixer, but one of the inserts that Jake offers is the pop-up for the mixer. It's great. If anybody's ever picked up one of those mixers, that's wonderful. Also an insert that I've used a lot because everybody has that messy Tupperware drawer. He's got a pegboard system that keeps them all stacked up. It's an added feature, but in the long run that you're not going through that Tupperware drawer. Like, I don't know about yours. Is yours organized with the lids and the bottoms all together?
I'm not allowed in the kitchen.
Okay. Well, now that we've got that solved. But just little things like that, how it ergonomically works for you is where I can come into that. And with the color and the countertops, because you don't just pick out the cabinet and the countertop and it's done. The whole kitchen revolves around the floor, the countertop, the backsplash, everything, the lighting. And also things trend all the time. There's something trending. And back to, again, I try not to lead clients down that path because you can pretty much tell, just like when everybody did their houses over in the 80s and everybody had dusty rose and blue carpet. And it lasts for 30 years and it never goes away. And you want something, kitchens are timeless. People do not change their kitchen. You're not flip-topping your countertop. Pick out something that's going to last timeless, not something that's going to be trendy, that you're going to like for the next 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Right. Good point. I know my wife is interested in remodeling our kitchen. We've been in our house for 15 years and she wants to go out with the old and in with the new kind of thing. So if someone's in the market for cabinets, because she just brought this up ironically, and I didn't know we'd be talking about cabinets, but she did bring it up that she goes, I want new cabinets. Where does one start for a customer? How does one decide on a specific cabinet and why should they go to custom?
Well, the first thing is understand what is your knowledge, first of all. There's some customers that are really dialed in to know exactly what they want. And there's other people that really aren't sure. Right. They've been out of it for so long and they have the red oak kitchen from 1982, And so depending on what your expertise is, that's why you go to somebody like Dena, because there's a whole lot. It's not just your cabinets. What are you doing with the floor? Who's going to install this? What kind of hardware are you going to use? What sink are you going to have? What's your countertop look like? Your lighting fixtures? Like, there is so much, and you need somebody to help you organize all that information and those decisions and help you get through that. So, but the homeowner does have some responsibility in trying to figure out colors and styles, and you got to get on there and look a little bit, do a little bit of research. But you come to somewhere like M&M showroom, and there's different door styles you can look, and you can ask, what's the advantage of this or the benefit of that, and then she'll start to understand what's going on and how you're thinking and what you really want. And that's the difference between going to just a box store for cabinets. she'll start to really figure out what you're looking for, and then she'll know how to drive you in a certain direction. So custom versus semi-custom or stock cabinets, pretty big difference. You're buying furniture for your kitchen. You're not buying just a particle board box, and so the hardware, the accessories, which we make ourselves, it's just another level. Like you'll open the door or a drawer and you'll say, "Oh, that's different." Mm-hmm. So, and being out there, we have 14 people in our company.
Okay,
we're small. We're mostly Amish and Mennonite. It's just the area we live in, it's fine. It's great, but we're very efficient in everything we do. We have a wood furnace. We create our own heat, all the wood waste, everything. So our overhead's really low. So our pricing, we compete with the semi-custom, even though we're full custom.
wow,
Yeah.
If I can interject something that Jake did, which was very impressive to me in the showroom, and I don't know if you remember this, Mike. So they had the partition drawer pull out that the cookie sheets go in. And it was the night of our debut open house, and Jake realized that you couldn't get the cookie sheet out of the drawer because the panel was too high. Mm-hmm. Well, a big box store isn't going to fix that. I mean, somebody will make a complaint or the salesperson won't say anything. Next thing I know, Jake comes in 3 days later and has a new petition that with a grab handle that you can get the piece out. They went back to the small group of people and changed the design right away. That's a piece that doesn't happen in a big box store at all. And it also, the nice thing about the features that they do, it's the same thing that Mike does when he goes out and measures, where the installation, they can show all the things that this is free or I'm doing this or this, but that isn't the whole picture. A kitchen, it's the hardware, it's the countertop, it's the sink, it's the faucet. And with carpeting and flooring, it's the trim, it's the molding, it's the rip up. Sure. All that stuff is factored into the price, and no matter what, you still have to pay that. Sometimes we're the bearer of bad news, but in the end, you're going to have the correct. You're going to have the correct estimate to start with, and it's going to be correctly done. And being able to change that quickly, I was so impressed with that you came back right away with something new, and that would not happen anyplace else. I have never, in the 40 years I've been doing this, that has never happened.
That's unbelievable. How do you decide? How do you help them decide? You just talked about all the things with like specifically for like a kitchen.
Well, I talk to them and I need to get in their head. I need to find out what their life's like who's doing the cooking. That's the person that's making the decision of what goes where in the kitchen, not what it says in the brochure or whatever. If you're right or left-handed, if you're a big spice person like myself, I use a lot of spices and herbs. I want them near where I'm cooking. I do not want to have to walk over and find it. I want to be able to pull up the drawer and be able to get to that. It makes a difference on the sink. I just was working with a client that we're working on right now, and they wanted a 50-50 sink because the house, they just went and got a 2/3 and a 1/3, and they hate it. And that's an expense that was in your countertop that they did at their old kitchen, and they're building a new home, and they don't want to make that mistake. And had they thought about what they needed, that little sink wasn't doing well for them. If that's not your expertise area where you want to be, then maybe that sink would have been fine. But with them, it was not, and they made a huge mistake with a hole in a granite. Well, you can't change that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. But I try to stop those issues before it gets installed. And I thought, again, where Jake would stop that if he saw something ergonomically not right. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a really good thing. And Mike Jr. does that, he might see we've caught things where we've pulled up pieces of carpet and the floor's damaged underneath. And, homeowners don't like surprises. Well, he tries to find the surprise before it becomes a surprise.
I understand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm trained to jump around toilets to make sure that I don't fall through the floor.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, check for weak spots, termite damage, all kinds of stuff.
So that's part of your gig, too, when you do these estimates and stuff.
Yeah, so, what I like to say is vast majority of the time I'm gambling. I have no idea what's underneath half of these floors before we rip them up, so... It is like gambling.
Have you ever fallen through a floor? Or?
No, but we had an installer fall through a floor.
Is that right?
Oh, it was a really, really bad home where they had lots of dogs. And with the mobile homes, they make them out of that particle board. And as soon as that stuff swells up, gets wet, it weakens it up. So, yeah, one of our installers, he fell through the substrate.
Wow.
The only thing holding it up was the carpet.
Wow. Well, that's not only a surprise for the customer, but also for the guys. For the guys as well.
And Mike will be doing, within the design, you get the whole package when you get us. Not only do you get Jake, Mike Jr., and myself, and our installers, because we have 4 teams of installers that do the installation. They've got to put the backsplash in. It all has to be coordinated right down from the selection process to the ordering process to the installation process. And he's going to make sure the backsplash is right. We're going to make sure that the guys install it properly, that you get the proper, all the things that you don't see.
Yeah.
That's what the important thing is when you're doing a remodel, especially in a kitchen, that all the stuff that you don't see. The cabinet can look beautiful. And I'm, not picking on the big box stores, but you go to IKEA and you see an IKEA kitchen. It looks awesome. Just don't open the doors. So that's those are the things. Everything you can make everything look really good, but the quality beyond that, and that's what we're trying to do at M&M Carpet One, is give the quality and give the backup behind it. We want you to be part of the family.
Honestly, that's just such a great solution. You're not just buying a product, but you're buying a team. You're investing into a team for your future. I know that's something that I would want to do. So again, not just going into a big box store and just doing it yourself. I certainly don't recommend that. I go with a team like you guys, M&M Carpet One, Home and Floor in Bloomsburg. Jake, your company has done some pretty big installs. We were talking before. You did SoFi Stadium out there with the Rams?
Yeah, materials to the Rams Stadium out in LA. So yeah, that was a pretty awesome deal. Yeah, because I'm a Rams fan, so it's fantastic for me. So and we did Nevillewood Country Club in Pittsburgh, and we're doing a couple other ones, the Pittsburgh Golf Club.
Sure.
Next. So yeah, a few good ones.
Yeah, that's so no project's too big or too small as well. I mean, you only have so. I think it's just fantastic to have this locally, a team like this, because I wouldn't know where to turn if I were to remodel my kitchen, even though I wouldn't be in charge of that by any stretch of the imagination. But if you're looking to do some remodeling on your kitchen, your bath, you go to M&M Carpet One for all those needs. And it's literally a one-stop shop.
Yep. Yeah, nowadays nothing is convenient except for shopping with us.
That's a great point. Conveniency. You can't put a price tag on the word convenience. Absolutely not. Anything you want to add, Jake, about the custom cabinetry? Stereotypes say that, well, I can't afford custom cabinetry. How do you meet that objection?
That's a tough one because a lot of people think that. Because we're a smaller shop and we're extremely efficient.
It's not necessarily the case,
we
right?
We aren't that expensive.
Right.
We're like what I said, we compared to like CraftMade, the semi-custom people, their overhead is just so huge and blown out. And so we compete really well, and I don't think people realize that. And I think if they did, they would see there's no reason to go anywhere else because what you get in return, I mean, like I said, it's more furniture for your kitchen than it is just cabinets.
Absolutely,
and a lot more comes with it. And if you go to Lowe's and try to get a CraftMade kitchen, you're going to might even pay more for that and not have any kind of service whatsoever. So, but I don't know, everything we do, we use 3/4 inch plywood. It's not particle board. It's full 3/4 inch. I mean, you grab this thing, it's like a dresser for any bedroom.
It's got some weight to it.
Yeah, it's
solid.
We don't cut any corners. And because we're efficient and we start with the lumber and we make it from the ground up, we're super efficient again. But we can make everything, and we can make it right. It doesn't cost us more to do it right the first time. So all the solid wood parts, 3/4 inch real plywood, all the accessories we make, the drawer boxes we make in house. So it's all solid wood, and it's really nice. And because that's all we use, we can buy it in bulk, and it keeps our costs down as well. So
Can I add something to that too? The one thing that they also offer, which I think for the designer part of me, is their painted finishes. They will use any Sherwin-Williams paint color to do the cabinets, so that can be coordinated. Not all, and they have beautiful finishes on their wood. And another thing that they offer, which the clients may not realize, is if you're a do-it-yourselfer, they can purchase the cabinets at M&M and just have them delivered to their house and have the quality. And we also have some things that we work with, several of the local contractors. So for a starter kitchen, if they needed something like that, but it's nice because they're small. Because again, they can turn on a dime just like M&M can turn on a dime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there you go. Like, I'm glad you addressed those concerns, because not all custom cabinet companies are the same. Right. So, when you hear custom, you're like, well, forget it. And then that's just not the case. Sure. So make sure you look into Arrow, because they do a bang up job. And I'm sorry to hear you're a Rams fan, but that's another podcast. No, they're a good team. They're a good team. But listen, we're going to keep going with conversations with M&M Carpet One Home and Floor. I think it's important to let people know about the company, about this teamwork that you have, and really that one-stop shop that you can take care of all your needs by our fine folks in here at the table today. Right, Dena?
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to get working on a golf simulator room real soon.
Let's get it.
You down with that?
He's got his tape measure with him.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Can you? Okay, we'll measure some stuff.
We'll walk it off.
We'll walk it off. Let me clean up some stuff, and we'll walk it off. But this has been a lot of fun. Jake, thanks for joining us today.
Sure.
Have a safe trip to State College. I know you got a meeting out there a little later on. And Mike Jr., thanks for being a part of it. Dena, my friend.
Yes.
Thanks so much for being on the podcast today. I'm Chad Evans inside the Stone State Studio with M&M Carpet One Home and Floor in Bloomsburg. We'll see you next time.